Let's pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and legislative assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Good afternoon, members, and welcome for today's sitting. Clerk, we may commence.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm raising on standing order number 27, which stipulates the morning sitting time and the afternoon sitting time. Honorable Speaker, looking at the time now, unless we move a motion to proceed after the appointed time, we may not be able to transact business as we intend to do.
Proceed,
Thank you,
Honorable
Madam
Member,
Speaker.
and move the motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That aware that standing order number 27, sub order 2. Sorry for that.
Can we have all phones on silent mode, members?
Sorry for that. That aware standing order number 27, sub order 2, provided that the Speaker shall interrupt business at 6:30 p.m. Not, sorry. 12:30 p.m. for the morning sitting. Aware that standing order number 27, sub order 3, provided that the House may resolve to extend its sitting time. Aware that standing order number 27, sub order 4, require a motion to extend sitting time to be moved at least 30 minutes before the appointed adjournment. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that this House resolve to extend its sitting time until the business in the order paper is properly concluded. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
May I call a seconder?
Thank you. I call upon the Deputy Leader, Honorable Kaviu, to second the motion.
Honorable Kaviu, please. Thank you, honorable members. I now propose the question that this House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business of the day is concluded. I now put the question that this House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business of the day is concluded. As many are of the opinion, say aye. As many are of the contrary opinion, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk, proceed. Thank you very much. I have a communication to make, members. Visitors at the Speaker's Gallery, good afternoon, honorable members, and welcome to this sitting. I have the following communication to make. Honorable members, I wish to acknowledge the presence of the honorable members of County Assembly of Kiambu, of the Budget and Appropriation Committee, who are here on a benchmarking study tour. The leader of the delegation is chair of the committee, who is Honorable Josephine Duta Mwangi. And I take this opportunity to sincerely welcome all of you to this assembly of MACHAKOS County Assembly. We allow visitors feel very much welcome. Thank you, honorable members. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
May I invite Honorable Dominic Ndambuki, the chairperson for Budget and Appropriation Committee, to come forward and lay down the papers. Proceed, honorable member.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Dominic Ndambuki, Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee. Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay the following papers on the table of the Assembly today, Wednesday, 22nd November 2023, the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the first supplementary budget estimates for fiscal year 2023-2024. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, honorable member. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
May I once again invite Honorable Dominic Ndambuki, Chairperson, Budget and Appropriation Committee, to come forward and give a notice. Proceed, honorable member.
Honorable Speaker, that aware that a supplementary budget is prepared in accordance with Section 135, subsection 2 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2012, which stipulates that a county government shall submit a supplementary budget in support of additional expenditure to seek authority for spending through the County Assembly, and aware that the law provides that an appropriation act can only be amended through a supplementary budget, cognizant that the standing orders mandate the Budget and Appropriations Committee to investigate, inquire into, and report on all matters related to coordination, control, and monitoring of the county budget, discuss and review the estimates and make recommendations to the Assembly, examine bills related to the county budget, including appropriation bills, and evaluate tax estimates, economic and budgetary policies and programs with direct budget outlays, noting that the first supplementary budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 was received on 15th November 2023 and committed to the Budget and Appropriations Committee, aware that the committee took into consideration the supplementary budget in analyzing the report, examined and discussed the submissions by the Chief Officer, Finance, and the County Assembly, and made recommendations as contained in the report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of the motion that this Assembly adopts the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee of the first supplementary budget estimates for the county government and the Assembly for the fiscal year 2023-2024, tabled in the Assembly on 22nd November 2023.
Thank you, honorable member. Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Next order.
Order number 8, procedural motion, shortening of maturity of a bill.
May I invite Honorable Nicholas Zioka, the leader of majority, to come forward and move that motion. Proceed, Honorable Zioka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that aware that Section 8, subsection 1C of the County Government Act 2012 bestows the responsibility of approving the budget and expenditure of the county on the County Assembly, aware that the County Executive submitted the first supplementary budget estimates for the financial year 2023-2024 to the Assembly for approval on 15th November 2023, noting that Machakos County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023, that is Machakos County Bills number 7, was published on 20th November 2023, and aware that Standing Order number 116 requires that an appropriation bill on publication should be allowed in the House after 7 days, aware that 7 days will lapse on 26th November 2023, and there is need to consider the appropriation bill within the shortest time to facilitate operations of the county government. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that, pursuant to Standing number 116, this House resolves to shorten the time for introduction of the Machakos County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023, that Kenya Gazette Supplement number 11, Machakos County Bills number 7, from 7 days to 2 days to ensure the bill is approved in time. I want to call upon the Minority Leader to second.
Minority Leader, proceed. Thank you, Honorable Ndawa. I now propose the question that, pursuant to Standing Order number 116, this House resolves to shorten the time for introduction of the Machakos County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023, Kenya Gazette Supplement number 11 of Machakos County Bills number 7, from 7 days to 2 days to ensure the bill is approved in time. I now invite the members to debate the bill. May I have members debating? Honorable Ngunga, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would want to, maybe while I'm still supporting, but I want to throw a caution to this element of shortening the time from the requisite 7 days to 2 days. Madam Speaker, while we appreciate the fact that the county executive might be in need of this supplementary budget urgently, but Madam Speaker, you remember we passed the annual budget some times ago. And there are good reasons as to why a budget or this paper will find itself 7 days before time, because, Madam Speaker, you are aware we work through committees, work through departments. And I would be raising the issue here, Madam Speaker, because even this supplementary budget has not been subjected through our departments, through our committees. So, Madam Speaker, in future, it is good that the Minister for Finance observes timelines. I remember this issue of timelines was raised once and again, where issues of this magnitude will be brought in the House in the morning and they're expected to pass in the afternoon. Madam Speaker, I think this House should be given due process so that we have time to scrutinize. These are many issues. One of the most important factors as to why we constitute here is to ensure that we look at the budgets. A budget is actually a constitutional right for this House to be able to scrutinize it. And so 2 days, Madam Speaker, when a proposal of this magnitude comes around for the House, will need to be given those 7 days. So, Madam Speaker, I just want to throw that caution to the Minister. While they are trying to bring this thing here, they should always observe that time so that they also give the Assembly good enough time to look at their proposals. We go through them so that we assist them. Actually, the idea here is to assist each other. So, Mr. Majority Leader, in future, ensure that those timelines, there are reasons as to why the timelines are set that way. So, Madam Speaker, while I'm supporting, I want to throw that caution so that in future, at least the House is given good enough time so that you can be able, actually, I got this print here this morning. I've been trying to look at it, and Madam Speaker, I forgot my spectacles at home. So I'm actually seeing black and white. I cannot even be able to tell what is happening here.
It's yellow.
And you know the people who are expecting me to scrutinize this thing here. So, Madam Speaker, I want to support, but meanwhile, throw that caution. In future, let us be given time so that we go through this document. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very important that we observe timelines and give enough notice that to the Assembly to look at the document properly. So it's well noted. Thank you, Honorable Member. Any other member who would like to contribute anything? All right. I now I now put the question that pursuant to Standing Order number 116, this House resolves to shorten the time for introduction of the Machakos County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023, Kenya Gazette Supplement number 11, Machakos County Bills number 7, from 7 days to 2 days to ensure that the bill is approved in time. As many are of the opinion, say aye. As many are of the contrary opinion, say nay. The ayes have it. Next order, clerk.
Order number 9, the Machakos County Supplemental Appropriation Bill 2023, Kenya Gazette Supplement number 11, Machakos County Bills number 7, first reading.
May I at this point invite the clerk to read the title of the bill?
A bill for an act of the County Assembly of Machakos to authorize the issuance of a sum of money out of the County Revenue Fund and its application towards the services of the year ending 30th June 2024 and to appropriate that sum for certain public services and purposes.
Thank you. Then I commit the bill to the Budget and Appropriation Committee for consideration. Next order.
Order number 10, motion, approval of report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the first supplementary budget estimates for the financial year 2023-2024.
May I invite Honorable Dominic Ndambuki, Chairperson, Budget and Appropriation Committee, to come forward and move that motion. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that aware that a supplementary budget is prepared in accordance with Section 135, subsection 2 of PFM Act of 2012, which stipulates that a county government shall submit a supplementary budget in support of additional expenditure to seek authority for spending through the County Assembly, and aware that the law provides that an appropriation act can only be amended through a supplementary budget. Cognizant that the standing orders mandate the Budget and Appropriations Committee to investigate, inquire into, and report on all matters related to coordination, control, and monitoring of the county budget, discuss and review the estimates and make recommendations to the Assembly, examine bills related to the county budget, including appropriations bills, and evaluate tax estimates, economic and budgetary policies and programs with direct budget outlays, noting that the first supplementary budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 was received on 15th November 2023 and committed to the Budget and Appropriations Committee, aware that the committee took into consideration the supplementary budget in analyzing the report, examined and discussed the submissions by the Chief Officer, Finance, and the County Assembly, and made recommendations as contained in the report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that this Assembly adopts the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the first supplementary budget estimates for the county government and the Assembly for fiscal year 2023-2024, tabled in the Assembly on 22nd November 2023. I wish to call upon Honorable Justus Mulwa to second.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Justus Mulwa, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And again, I join your office, if you allow me, Madam Speaker, to welcome this great team from Kiambu, the Budget and Appropriation Committee, under the leadership of Mheshimiwa Josephine. I'll tell them karibu sana Machakos, where we value the leadership of ladies. Madam Speaker, I stand to support
Thank you.
and I
Thank
second
you.
the motion. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I now propose the question that this House adopts the report of the Budget and Appropriation Committee on the first supplementary budget estimates for the county government and the Assembly for the financial year 2023-2024, tabled in the Assembly on 22nd November 2023. Before I invite members to come forward and debate this motion, I wish to invite the mover to come forward and highlight the report. Honorable Ndambuki, proceed and highlight the report.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And with your permission, I will request the House to move with me on the report that has been shared through our common platform. And I'm going to read the report on the Budget and Appropriations Committee, which is the first report on supplementary budget estimates, number 1, for the fiscal year 2023-2024, prepared this November 2023. And with your permission, Madam Speaker, I'll go straight to the overview, which is on page 4 of the first supplementary budget estimates for fiscal year or financial year 2023-2024, which proposes an increase in the approved budget by 1,828,274,465 Kenya shillings. The development budget has increased by 812,464,915 Kenya shillings, while on the other hand, the recurrent spending has increased by 1,015,809,550 Kenya shillings. The committee notes that this supplementary budget has subjected the county budget to expenditure increases. That is, development budget, as outlined before, 812,464,915 Kenya shillings. Recurrent budget, 1,015,809,550 Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, if you allow me, I will take members to page 7, where we will I'm guided by the table clerk that, Madam Speaker, it's important that I share with the members on the financing of the first supplementary budget, which is on page 6.
Proceed.
I apologize for that. Financing the first supplementary budget estimates 2023-2024. 1, own source revenue. The county government has retained its own source revenue at 2,998,879,462 Kenya shillings. Equitable share. Pursuant to Article 202, Subarticle 1 of the Constitution, the equitable share allocated to the county government of Machakos in the fiscal year 2023-2024, based on the revenue raised nationally, has increased by 1,456,001,038 Kenya shillings, being an accommodation of previous financial year's balances to 11,3,296,347 Kenya shillings. Conditional grants. The conditional grants have increased from 1,092,827,676 Kenya shillings to 1,452,177,756 Kenya shillings. This will be applied to fund both recurrent and development expenditures. Another source of revenue is hospital revenues. The county government has retained the hospital revenues at 1,008,000,000 Kenya shillings. Equalization fund. The county government has factored in an equalization fund share of 12,923,347 Kenya shillings. Another source is asset disposal. The county government has provided for 100 million Kenya shillings for disposal of county assets. Honorable Speaker, with the proposed increase of the total revenue by 1,828,274,465 Kenya shillings, the total expenditure for the county government of Machakos stands at 16,575,276,912 Kenya shillings, consisting of recurrent expenditure of 10,604,096,067 Kenya shillings, to cater for personnel emoluments of 6,715,240,150 Kenya shillings, operations and maintenance expenses of 3,772,869,870 Kenya shillings, and current transfers of 115,986,047 Kenya shillings. The resultant effect is an increase by 1,015,809,550 Kenya shillings from the approved budget of the fiscal year 2023-2024. The development expenditure of 5,971,180,845 Kenya shillings, constituting of capital transfers or grants of 1,336,191,709 Kenya shillings, and acquisition of assets amounting to 4,634,989,136 Kenya shillings. The effect being an increase by 812,464,915 Kenya shillings from the approved budget estimates for fiscal year 2023-2024. This translates to the development ratio of 36%, while the personnel emolument ratio stands at 41%. The development ratio complies with fiscal responsibility principle, which requires the same to be at least 30%, while the ratio on personnel emoluments is more than the set threshold of 35% of the total revenue. Committee budget highlights and recommendations. Honorable Speaker, the committee hereby highlights the main supplementary budget proposals per each department and recommends as follows. The Office of the Governor, which has an approved budget of 600,452,324 Kenya shillings, constituting of 19,578,170 Kenya shillings for development and 580,874,154 Kenya shillings for recurrent. The County Treasury proposes to increase the recurrent budget by 10 million Kenya shillings from 580,874,154 Kenya shillings to 590,874,154 Kenya shillings, being an effect of Program 1, which is coordination and supervisory services in the Office of the Governor Headquarters, increased by 5 million. Program 4, ICT services, decreased by 1 million. Program 5, hospitality.
Such in the term, there's some noise coming from somewhere. Can we observe silence as we proceedings go on?
Honorable Speaker, as I proceed, kindly allow me to advise the House that honorable members can also get the report from our WhatsApp forum. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I continue. Increase in the Office of the Governor Headquarters, increase by 5 million. And Program 4, ICT services, decreased by 1 million. Program 5, hospitality services, decreased by 5 million. And Program 8, Office of the County Secretary, increased by 11 million. Further, the County Treasury proposes to retain the development budget at 19,578,170 Kenya shillings. The CRA recurrent budget ceilings for the County Executive, which is the Office of the Governor and County Public Service Board, is 618,887,863 Kenya shillings. This allocation is above the set CARA allocation by 10 million Kenya shillings. The committee recommends that the Office of the Governor be allocated 19,578,170 Kenya shillings for development and 590,874,154 Kenya shillings for recurrent expenditure, respectively. We look at the Office of the County Attorney. The approved budget of this office is 92,864,716 Kenya shillings, which constitutes of 9.3 million Kenya shillings for development and 83,564,716 Kenya shillings for recurrent. The county treasury proposes to retain both the recurrent and development budgets. The committee recommends that the recurrent expenditure be set at 83,564,716 Kenya shillings and 9.3 million Kenya shillings for development expenditures as per the county treasury's proposal. Department of Trade, Industry, Tourism and Innovation. The Department of Trade, Industry, Tourism and Innovation has an approved budget of 687,062,847 Kenya shillings, which constitutes of 508,778,732 Kenya shillings for development and 178,284,115 Kenya shillings for recurrent. The county treasury proposes to increase the total recurrent budget estimates for the department by 19.7 million Kenya shillings from 178,284,115 Kenya shillings to 197,984,115 Kenya shillings, being an effect of Program 7, which is Heritage and Culture increase of 5 million. Program 8, that is Legal Management, increase of 4.8 million. Program 9, Tourism Development and Marketing, by increase of 1.2 million. Program 11, MACHAKOS, increase of 5 million. Program 13, Digital Economy, which is a new program, increased by 3.7 million. In the development budget, the county treasury proposes to reduce the budget by 10 million Kenya shillings from 508,778,732 Kenya shillings to 498,778,732 Kenya shillings, being an effect of an increase in Program 4, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, by 41,084,984 Kenya shillings. Program 5, Industrialization and Innovation, decreased by 41,084,984 Kenya shillings. Program 6, Tourism, Administrative and Support Services, a decrease by 3 million Kenya shillings. Program 8, Legal Management, a decrease by 1.5 million Kenya shillings. Program 9, Management Recreational Facilities, a decrease by 3 million. And Program 10, MACHAKOS, a decrease by 2.5 million Kenya shillings. The committee recommends that recurrent expenditure in the department be revised to 197,984,115 Kenya shillings and reduce development expenditure to 498,778,732 Kenya shillings as per the county treasury's proposal. Department of Finance, Economic Planning and Revenue Management. Madam Speaker, this department has an approved budget of 1,458,230,172 Kenya shillings, constituting of 474,976,422 Kenya shillings for development and 983,253,750 Kenya shillings for recurrent. The county treasury proposes to increase the total recurrent budget estimates for the department by 338,810,617 Kenya shillings from 983,253,750 Kenya shillings to 1,322,064,368 Kenya shillings, being an effect of increase in Program 1, Revenue Management, by 98,996,000 Kenya shillings. Program 2, Budget Formulation, Coordination and Implementation, by 23 million. Program 3, Supply Chain Management, by 4 million. Program 4, Audit Services, by 7,920,360 Kenya shillings. Program 5, Accounting Services, by 105,594,257 Kenya shillings. Program 6, Human Resources Management and Support Services, by 4,155,000 Kenya shillings. Program 7, Economic Planning and Statistical Services, by 34 million. Program 8, Monitoring and Evaluation, by 6.5 million Kenya shillings. Program 11, ICT, General Administration and Support Services, by 5 million. Program 14, Public Communication, which is a new program, by 49,645,000 Kenya shillings. In the development budget, the county treasury proposes to increase the budget by 374,727,111 Kenya shillings from 474,976,422 Kenya shillings to 847,703,533 Kenya shillings, being an effect of decrease in programs 1. Revenue management by 35 million Kenya shillings. Program 2. Budget formulation, coordination and implementation decreased by 21,872,000 Kenya shillings. Program 4. Accounting services increased by 393,727,111 Kenya shillings. Program 5. Economic planning and statistical services decreased by 3 million. Program 6, ICT services and infrastructure, increased by 40,872,000 Kenya shillings. The committee recommends that the recurrent budget of the department be revised to 1,322,064,368 Kenya shillings, and development budget to 849,703,533 Kenya shillings. Department of Devolution. In this department, the approved budget is 1,025,103,833 Kenya shillings, constituting of 45,934,416 Kenya shillings for development and 979,169,215 Kenya shillings for recurrent. The county treasury proposes to increase the total recurrent budget estimates for the department by 284,514,531 Kenya shillings from 979,169,215 Kenya shillings to 1,263,683,746 Kenya shillings, being an effect of increase in Program 1, Public Service, General Administration and Coordination Services by increase of 250,614,531 Kenya shillings. Program 4, County Administration and Decentralized Units increased by 34.8 million. And Program 6, Administration and Coordination Services, decreased by 900,000 Kenya shillings. In the development budget, the county treasury proposes to increase the budget by 49,923,347 Kenya shillings from 45,934,618 Kenya shillings to 95,857,965 Kenya shillings, being an increase in Program 1, Administration and Coordination Services, which is a new program, by 49,923,347 Kenya shillings. The committee recommends that the recurrent budget of the department be revised to 1,263,683,746 Kenya shillings and development budget to 95,857,965 Kenya shillings. Department of Agriculture, Food Security and Cooperative Development. In this department, the approved budget was 1,210,210,225 Kenya shillings, which constitutes of 830,637,413 Kenya shillings for development and 379,572,812 Kenya shillings for recurrent. The county treasury proposes that the total recurrent budget estimates for the department be increased by 10.5 million Kenya shillings from 379,572,812 Kenya shillings to 390,072,812 Kenya shillings, being an effect of decrease of Program 1, General Administration and Support Services by 1.65 million Kenya shillings. Program 2, Crop Development and Management by 25,000 Kenya shillings, and increases in Program 3, Livestock Resources Management and Development by 850,000 Kenya shillings. Program 5, Veterinary Services by 500,000 Kenya shillings. Program 6, ATC by 25,000 Kenya shillings. And Program 7, Cooperatives Development and Marketing by 10 million Kenya shillings. The county treasury proposes to increase the development budget by 43,892,729 Kenya shillings from 830,637,413 Kenya shillings to 874,530,142 Kenya shillings, being an effect of Program 1, General Administration and Support Services by 78,392,729 Kenya shillings. Program 2, Crop Development and Management, a decrease by 40 million Kenya shillings. Program 3, Livestock Resources Management and Development, a decrease by 8,043,403 Kenya shillings. Program 5, Veterinary Services, an increase by 8,043,403 403 Kenya shillings. Program 6, ATC, an increase by 500,000 Kenya shillings. Program 7, Cooperative Development and Marketing, which is a new program, an increase by 10 million Kenya shillings. And Program 8, Promotion of Cooperative Marketing and Value Chain, a decrease by 5 million Kenya shillings. Madam Speaker, the committee recommends that current expenditure in the department be increased to 390 million 72,812 Kenya shillings, and the development expenditure be increased to 874 million 530,142 Kenya shillings. Department of Health. The approved budget for this department is 5,056,980,576 Kenya shillings, constituting of development expenditure of 994,139,145 Kenya shillings and 4,062,841,431 Kenya shillings for recurrent budgets. The county treasury is proposing to increase the recurrent budget estimates for the department by 214,021,080 Kenya shillings from 4,062,841,431 Kenya shillings to 4,276,862,511 Kenya shillings, being an effect of increase in Program 1, General Administration, by 109,021,080 Kenya shillings. Program 2, Machakos Level 5, by 8.5 million Kenya shillings. Program 13, Public Health, by 96.5 million Kenya shillings. In the development budget, the county treasury proposes to increase the budget by 121,145,891 Kenya shillings from 994,139,145 Kenya shillings to 1,115,245,036 Kenya shillings, being an effect of an increase in Program 1, General Administration, by 241,840,820 Kenya shillings. Program 2, Machakos Level 5, a decrease by 110 million. Kangundo Level 4, which is Program 3, an increase by 7 million. Program 4, Matu Level 4, an increase by 14 million Kenya shillings. And decreases in Programs 5, Kadhiani Level 4, by 734,929 Kenya shillings. Mwala Level 4, by 10 million Kenya shillings. Program 7, Kimiti Level 4, by 6 million Kenya shillings. Program 8, Masinga Level 4, by 6 million Kenya shillings. Program 9, Athi River Level 4, by 6 million Kenya shillings. Program 10, Mutituni Level 4, by 72 million Kenya shillings. Program 12, Kalama Level 4, by 6 million Kenya shillings. And decreases in Program 13, Public Health, by 10 million Kenya shillings. The committee recommends that the recurrent expenditure of the department be increased to 4,276,862,511 Kenya shillings, and development expenditure to 1,095,245,036 Kenya shillings. Department of Roads, Transport and Public Works. Honorable Speaker, this department had an approved budget of 959,168,023 Kenya shillings, which constitutes of 711,731,765 Kenya shillings for development and 247,436,258 Kenya shillings for recurrent. The county treasury proposes to increase the total recurrent budget estimates for the department by 3,070,000 Kenya shillings from 247,436,258 Kenya shillings to 250,506,258 Kenya shillings, being an effect of increase in Program 1, General Administration and Support Services of 3.92 million Kenya shillings, and a decrease in Program 2, Road Development and Management, by 850,000 Kenya shillings. In the development budget, the county treasury proposes to reduce the budget for the department by 62.5 million Kenya shillings from 711,731,765 Kenya shillings to 649,231,765 Kenya shillings, being an effect of an increase in Program 1, General Administration and Support Services, of 9 million, and a decrease in programs. Program 2, Road Development and Management, by 20 million. Program 3, County Government Building Services, by 49.5, and Program 4, County Fleet Management, by 2 million Kenya shillings. The committee recommends that the recurrent expenditure of the department be increased to 250,506,258 Kenya shillings, and the development expenditure be reduced to 649,231,765 Kenya shillings. Department of Education. This department has an approved budget of 719,515,483 Kenya shillings, which constitutes of 172,729,112 Kenya shillings on development and 542,786,371 Kenya shillings for recurrent expenditure. The County Treasury proposes to increase the total recurrent budget estimates for the department by 90,593,322 Kenya shillings from 546,786,371 Kenya shillings to 637,379,693 Kenya shillings, being an effect of an increase in program 1, General Administration Planning and Support Services by 17 million, program 2, Basic Education by 1,493,322 Kenya shillings, and program 3, Vocational Training Services, which is a new program, by 12.1 million Kenya shillings. In the development budget, the County Treasury proposes a decrease in the budget by 75 million Kenya shillings from 172,729,112 Kenya shillings to 97,729,112 Kenya shillings, being an decrease in program 1, General Administration Planning and Support Services by 75 million Kenya shillings. The committee recommends that the recurrent expenditure for the department be revised to 639,379,693 Kenya shillings, and further recommends that development expenditure be revised to 97,729,112 Kenya shillings. Department of Lands, Housing, Urban Development and Energy. The Department of Lands, Housing, Urban Development and Energy has an approved budget of 408,521,820 Kenya shillings, constituting of 167,755,550 Kenya shillings for development and 240,766,270 Kenya shillings for recurrent. The County Treasury proposes to retain the total recurrent budget estimates for the department at 240,766,270 Kenya shillings. In the development budget, the County Treasury proposes to increase the budget by 96,640,253 Kenya shillings from 167,755,550 Kenya shillings to 264,395,803 Kenya shillings, being an effect of increase in programs 4, Mavoko Municipality by 1,128,536 Kenya shillings, program 5, Machakos Municipality by 89,217,607 Kenya shillings, and program 6, Tala Kangundo Municipality by 6,294,110 Kenya shillings. The committee recommends that the recurrent expenditure for the department be retained at 240,766,270 Kenya shillings, and further recommends that the development expenditure be revised to 264,395,803 Kenya shillings. Department of Gender, Youth, Sports and Social Welfare. Honorable Speaker, this department has an approved budget of 317,294,772 Kenya shillings, constituting of 192,655,003 Kenya shillings on development and 124,639,769 Kenya shillings on recurrent expenditure. The County Treasury proposes to increase the total recurrent budget estimates for the department by 95 million Kenya shillings from 124,639,763 Kenya shillings to 219,639,769 Kenya shillings, being an effect of increase in programs 1, Youth and Sports, Administrative Services by 70 million Kenya shillings, and program 2, Gender and Social Welfare by 25 million Kenya shillings. The County Treasury proposes to increase the development budget by 145 million from 192,655,003 Kenya shillings to 337,655,003 Kenya shillings, being an effect of increase in programs 2, Sports Management by 75 million, and program 3, Youth Empowerment by 70 million. The committee recommends that recurrent expenditure for the department be revised to 124,639,769 Kenya shillings. In further, recommends that development expenditure for the department be revised to 337,655,003 Kenya shillings. Department of Water, Irrigation, Environment and Climate Change. The Department of Water, Irrigation, Environment and Climate Change has an approved budget of 852,588,120 Kenya shillings, constituting of 718,500,000 Kenya shillings for development and 134,088,120 Kenya shillings for recurrent. The county treasury proposes that the total recurrent budget estimates for the department be increased by 12.1 million Kenya shillings from 134,088,120 Kenya shillings to 146,188,120 Kenya shillings, being an effect of increase in programs 1, Water Resources Management, by 10 million Kenya shillings, and program 3, General Administrative and Support Services, by 2.1 million Kenya shillings. Under development budget, the treasury proposes to increase it by 103,175,584 Kenya shillings from 718.5 million Kenya shillings to 821,675,584 Kenya shillings, being an effect of an increase in program 5, Climate Change, by 103,175,584 Kenya shillings. The committee recommends that the recurrent expenditure in the department be increased to 146,188,120 Kenya shillings, and development expenditure in the department be increased to 821,675,584 Kenya shillings. County Public Service Board. Honorable Speaker, the County Public Service Board has an approved budget of 58,013,709 Kenya shillings, constituting of 20 million Kenya shillings on development and 38,013,709 Kenya shillings on recurrent budgets. The County Treasury proposes that the recurrent budget estimates for the board be retained at 38,013,709 Kenya shillings, and the development budgets be decreased by 17 million from 20 million to 3 million Kenya shillings, being an effect of a decrease in program 1, Human Resources and Administration, by 17 million. The committee recommends that the recurrent expenditure of the County Public Service Board be retained at 38,013,709 Kenya shillings, and development budgets be revised to 3 million Kenya shillings. County Assembly. Honorable Speaker, the County Assembly has an approved budget of 1,300,995,826 Kenya shillings, which constitutes of 295 million for development and 1,008,995,826 Kenya shillings for recurrent expenditure. The County Treasury proposes to retain both the recurrent and development budgets estimates with some realignments in the vote lines. The committee recommends that the County Assembly development budget be retained at 292 million for development and recurrent budgets at 1,008,995,826 Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, we look at the effects of the supplementary budget. Honorable Speaker, the overall effects of these proposed changes are a revision of the approved budgets from 14,747,002,447 Kenya shillings to 16,575,276,912 Kenya shillings. A further analysis shows that the recurrent expenditure will increase by 1,015,809,550 Kenya shillings, while the development expenditure will increase by 812,464,915 Kenya shillings. This translates to recurrent expenditure of 64% and development expenditure of 36%. Compensation to employees stands at 6,715,240. Sorry, I repeat again. Compensation to employees stands at 6,715,240,150 Kenya shillings, translating to 41% of the total revenue. This supplementary budget is therefore in compliance with fiscal responsibility principles set out under Section 107, subsection 2B of the PFM Act of 2012, except on the compensation to employees, which exceeds the set threshold of 35%. In accommodating the recommendations by the Budget and Appropriations Committee, the expenditure framework shall be 5,971,180,845 Kenya shillings, which is the 36% of the total budget on development, and recurrent at 10,604,096,067 Kenya shillings, which is a 64% of the total budget. And compensation to employees shall be 6,715,240,150, translating to 41% of the total revenue. General Committee observations. Honorable Speaker, in processing the supplementary budget, the committee made the following observations. 1. The county-owned contribution for various donor-funded programs or projects which were not captured in the main budget have now been included in supplementary budget. 2. The proposed construction of silos total budget of 50 million has been reallocated. 3. Provision for 90 million for establishment of Machakos Youth Empowerment Center, which has been introduced. 4. Feeding program budgets of 75 million Kenya shillings has been moved from the development budget to recurrent budget, which violates Section 154B of the PFM Act and PFM Regulations of 2017, Section 47 sub D. 5. Provision for compensation of employees exceeds the set legal limit of 35% and stands at 41%. 6. Reallocations in some departments are more than stipulated 10% in Public Finance Management Regulations 39 subsection 9, which states that in approving any estimates under Section 135 and 154, the County Assembly approval shall not exceed 10% of the approved budget estimates of a program of a sub-vote unless it is for an unforeseen and unavoidable need. For instance, in the following departments under development: devolution, gender, youth, sports and social welfare, lands, urban development, housing and energy, education and health. Under recurrent expenditure, Department of Finance, Economic Planning and Revenue Management, health, education, devolution and gender, youth, sports and social welfare. The law allows the County Assembly to approve a higher percentage, in particular on special circumstances as stipulated under Section 137, under Section 135, subsection 7 of the PFM Act. 7. The committee observed a major reduction in the development budgets for the county public service boards by 17 million Kenya shillings. Department of Roads, Transport and Public Works by 50 million Kenya shillings. Department of Health, Mwala Hospital by 10 million, Kimiti Level 4 by 6 million, Masinga Level 4 by 6 million, Athi River Level 4 by 6 million, Mutituni Level 4 by 7 million Kenya shillings, and Kalama Level 4 by 6 million Kenya shillings. 8. Reduction of the emergency fund by 20 million from 90 million to 70 million, which translates to 1% against the recommended 2% of the total revenue. 9. A provision of payment of tax arrears to 170,305,824.64 Kenya shillings. 10. A provision for outstanding payments of the last fiscal year 2022-2023 of 223,421,286.65 Kenya shillings and other current transfers procured and not paid of 103,565,923 Kenya shillings. 11. Allocation of a recurrent budget in the Office of the Governor and the County Public Service Board exceeding the current limit by 10 million. 12. The budget of the purchase of firefighting vehicles and equipment of 40.5 million Kenya shillings has been reallocated and 20.5 million Kenya shillings provided for the same, but under the capital under other capital transfers. 13. A provision of 10 million Kenya shillings under the current transfers for SECEB. 14. An increase of 138,021,080 Kenya shillings in Department of Health and 63,996,000 Kenya shillings in the Department of Finance for basic salaries. 14. A provision of 10 million Kenya shillings for water task force. 15. Under the Department of Trade, Industry, Tourism and Innovation, there is a provision of 5 million Kenya shillings for other current transfers. 16. Major provisions for other current transfers and other operating expenses across all the departments. 17. The committee noted introduction of new programs which were not in the initial approved budget and creation or enhancement of current and capital transfers. Submission from CCM Finance. The committee invited officer from the CCM Department of Finance, Economic Planning and Revenue Management to respond on concerns raised during the interrogation of the supplementary budget estimates of 2023-2024. The following were their submissions. A. This reallocation was to cater for county-owned contribution to meet the conditions set by the donor. B. The chief officer informed the committee that the project has been deferred and 50 million Kenya shillings was reallocation for purchase of certified seeds and fertilizer. C. The chief officer informed the committee that the funds were allocation to cater for youth empowerment through training, purchase of materials, equipment, and rehabilitation facilities. D. The feeding program budgets of 75 million Kenya shillings, which was moved from development budget to recurrent budget, was as a result of an advisory from the Office of the Controller of Budget. E. On the reallocation in some departments exceeding the stipulated 10%, were as a result of an unforeseen happening, that is El Nino rainfalls. F. On the reduction of the development budgets in some departments, for example, County Public Service Board, the chief officer responded that the funds were allocated to ICT for acquiring common user items and reduction of development funds from transport health departments amounting to 138,021,080 Kenya shillings has been reallocated for construction of MACHAKOS Hospital. Further plans for upgrading of Kangundo and Matu level 4s to level 5 are underway in order to decongest MACHAKOS level 5. G. On reduction of emergency fund, the chief officer responded that it adhered to the legal provisions in Section 113 of PFM Act of 2012, which requires an institution to budget at least 2% of the total revenue. H. The chief, sorry, I repeat, there is a typing error, Honorable Speaker. I repeat G, the last part. I repeat the entire sentence. On reduction of emergency fund, the chief officer responded and said that this adhered to the legal provisions in Section 113 of PFM Act, which requires an institution to budget at most, not at least, 2%. At most 2%. H. The chief officer provided documentary evidence on reallocation for payment of tax arrears amounting to 170,305,824.64 Kenya shillings and outstanding payments for fiscal year 2022-2023 of 223,421,286 Kenya shillings and other current transfers of 103,565,923 Kenya shillings. I. The chief officer also informed the committee that the allocation of 10 million Kenya shillings in the office of the governor is a non-selling item. J. The 40.5 million Kenya shillings for purchase of firefighting vehicles and equipment were removed and a new vote for capital transfers of 20.5 million Kenya shillings created to cater for repair and maintenance of firefighting engines. K. In the Department of Health, there was an increase of 138,021,080 Kenya shillings for payment of basic salaries. This amount was to cater for stipend of community health promoters. In the Department of Finance, an increase of 63,996,000 Kenya shillings was to cater for basic salaries for the new recruited revenue clerks. Members were concerned on the arrears of community health promoters, which had not been allocated any funds, and after consultation with the chief officer, the committee did an allocation of 67.5 million Kenya shillings. L. On the introduction of the new programs, that is digital economy and SMEs, in the Department of Trade and Public Communication under Finance, were created to improve on efficiency and effectiveness. M. On compensation to community health promoters, the chief officer stated, going forward, they will adhere to advisory from controller of budget so as to have a common provision countrywide. Committee recommendations. Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that A. That the committee was not provided with year-to-date actual expenditure reviews and IFMI's vote book to ascertain the need for reallocations in the departments. The expenditure details or columns was missing in the budgetary documents forwarded and was not availed as required. The same provides details on spending and reason for reallocations to the committee. The committee lacks details to explain to this Honorable House on how much the executive has spent to date. The committee therefore recommends that the County Treasury adheres to Article 183, Article 3 of the Constitution of Kenya that provides that the County Executive Committee member shall provide the County Assembly with full and regular reports of the matters relating to the county. B. The committee recommends that the procurement process for development projects be initiated early enough at the start of the financial year in order to achieve the desired development budget uptake and ensure completion of the earmarked projects before the financial year ends. C. The committee recommends that personnel emoluments ratio for staff be reduced from the current 41% to 35% as required in the PFM Act of 2012. The county treasurer needs to come up with strategies of overcoming this violation. D. The committee recommends that the county treasury avoids reallocation which are more than 10% of the approved budget, and in case of any unavoidable reason, authority be sought for such movements. E. The committee further recommends that the program-based budgets be resubmitted including all the missing information as per the budget circular. F. The committee recommends priority be given to the ongoing and stalled projects before initiating new ones. G. The county treasury needs to provide a list of the items procured and not paid to date. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, with the approval of the fiscal year 2023-2024, this first supplementary budget, the county should increase the absorption rate and avoid carrying forward balances that have been witnessed in the previous years. Honorable Speaker, the Budget and Appropriations Committee acknowledges the office of the Speaker and that of the Clerk of the County Assembly for facilitating the committee to undertake this exercise. I wish to express my appreciation to the honorable members of the committee who spent much of their time to participate in the meetings and in preparation of this report. Honorable Speaker, it is therefore my privilege and honor on behalf of the Budget and Appropriations Committee to table the fiscal year 2023-2024 first supplementary budget before this Honorable House for consideration and approval. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you very much. At this point, I invite members to debate this motion. Honorable Brian Kisila, proceed.
Madam Speaker, I stand here to commend the committee for good work they've done over a very short time. However, I have some serious points which I want the committee to highlight to us on why that decision came. Decision number one, Madam Speaker, you see, I stood here as a member of County Assembly for Mwala, and I seriously defended the budget for Mwala Level 4. But Madam Speaker, it looks like this committee, the only place they see saving money is by cutting down the budget for Mwala Level 4. The Level 4 has been cut down by 10 million shillings, further than the previous budget which had been allocated, which was not even enough. So that's an explanation which I need before I make a decision on the way forward. So, Chairman, please look at that. Madam Speaker, I'm also very concerned about reduction of roads budget. If you look at the budget we provided for in the last budget, the roads budget was actually very low. But now the budget has, again, Madam Speaker, according to this report, has been reduced further by 72 million by 72 million shillings. Everybody knows El Nino is on the way. Everybody knows the state of our roads. Reducing the budget further will actually make it worse for us who are elected. It's a very serious omission. I just also want to seek a clarification from the chairman on the reduction of 75 million from education budget. Where is that coming from? Is it coming from bursary or is it coming from which area? It's just a clarification. But I highly commend the committee for the increase in water budget of 103. Water is life. We all know that the work which the water committee and the water department has been doing, and that is, to me, a success story for this assembly and for the executive. The increase by 103, I highly support. You talked about asset disposal of 100 million. Which assets are being disposed? Because any asset being disposed, you need approval from this assembly. That document needs to be tabled here on which assets are being disposed. Madam Speaker, we are pumping a lot of money on finance and revenue collection. But it is unfortunate that the chairman said the budget still for internal revenue is at 2.9 billion. We were expecting, when we pump more money to revenue collection, now we should be talking about 4 billion internal revenue. Where is the leakage? We are spending money on internal revenue, but we are not seeing an increase commensurate to the budget which we are giving finance. That's an area which, as an assembly, we need to look at. Because you can continue pumping money. We were told we are giving money to finance for systems, for machinery, for automation, but we are not seeing that traction, Madam Speaker. The chairman talked about 2.9 billion. By now, we should be on 3 billion internal revenue. So where is the disconnect? Madam Speaker, I'm a bit worried about reduction of emergency fund. We all know that we are faced with El Nino and tough things are going to happen. But when you reduce the emergency fund by 20 million, and even go further, you cut down firefighting equipment, which we had provided for. Some of these major towns, including municipalities, don't have enough firefighting equipment. In our committee, we provided 4 firefighting equipment. But you have taken away 40 million. So what if a fire happens today? If you go to Matu, you only have a small and cruiser, which cannot even do any firefighting. MACHAKOS, last time you saw, when there was firefighting, what happened? Mavoko, a municipality. You know what happens when there's fire. But you go ahead and cut 40 million out of firefighting equipment. Madam Speaker, as a chairman for decentralized units, I totally oppose that. Madam Speaker, it is mandatory that IFMIS be provided for our budget purpose. We are here and we stand with our Excellency the Governor. We are supporting her fully. But it is important that we adhere to the recommendations of public procurement. And the chairman said that was not provided for. So what does that mean? What does that mean? And what is the implication of that? Lastly, Madam Speaker, no, second last, staff cost is at 41%, when the stipulated is 35%. And the county is still increasing staff costs. How are we going to tackle development when we are at 41%, when the stipulated is 35%? Madam Speaker, I also have concern about reallocations from budget of more than 10%. Unless it's a good reason why reallocations are there on 10%, it is not acceptable and is not within the law. So, Mr. Chairman, when you stand up here to highlight those issues, to convince us why we are making those adjustments, and the reason why we should stand with you on passing this budget, those issues which I find pretty serious need to be looked at. My final point, Madam Speaker, on the general observations with the way Mheshimiwa talked about, I don't have a problem with increasing health budget. I sit in the health budget. We are increasing the health budget again. But we need to see absorption in that department. We are giving them more money, but we are not seeing absorption, especially on level 3s and level 4s. And when you just increase 10 million to Matu, decrease 10 million to Mwala, you continuously continue giving MACHAKOS level 5 a burden to take a lot of patients. We need to take back money for level 4s. We also need to take more money to level 3s and level 2s so that people don't have to come to MACHAKOS. So I am in the health committee. I support increase in budget reallocation. But I sat in that committee, and members who are in this, who are members of that health committee, know pretty well the absorption rate of health department is worrying. So, Madam Speaker, before I make up my decision whether to support or support with amendments, I would like those points to be highlighted to me by the chairman, and then we can make a decision, because we have shortened the time, and we need other time to look at this in more details. And it's acceptable, and we have accepted. It is important that those points are put across, so that when we are making the decision to support with amendments or not support, that we are fully in the picture. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Brian Kisila. I observe we have very important concerns there, Honorable Ndambuki. While responding, kindly highlight on those very important concerns. May I have another contributor? Honorable Minority Leader, then after which Honorable Katiti, after Honorable Minority.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Judas Ndawa, the area member for Matu Ward. Honorable Speaker, I will just start by applauding the committee for burning midnight oil to ensure that we have this supplementary. And the reason why I'm thanking them very much, Honorable Speaker, you are aware, and it is within the public domain, that as of yesterday, His Excellency the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya said that the governor should not blame the national government on issues of El Nino because they have monies in their counties. Honorable Speaker, without this supplementary budget, the county may not be able to address some of the issues that we are facing. And it is evident that the long-awaited El Nino is with us. Again, Honorable Speaker, I happen to be a member of this committee, the Budget Committee, and some of the issues which Mheshimiwa Brian is raising here are pertinent issues. And because I sit in that committee, I can also assist the chair in responding to some of the queries that Mheshimiwa is raising. Honorable Speaker, one of the reasons why we are increasing the allocation for the Department of Health, everybody is aware that there is a proposal for all the community health promoters to be receiving something at the end of every month. And as per the instructions given by His Excellency the President of this Republic, Honorable His Excellency Luto, he proposed that the national government will be giving 2,500 per person, and the county to top up with 2,500 per one promoter. So, Honorable Speaker, one of the reasons why we requested for this increase is to ensure that when the national money is available, we still have ours. Because if we don't take care of that proposal, we may find ourselves in a situation whereby the national is matching a shilling by shilling. And we may find ourselves not having what to match the national money. So that is one of the reasons why we proposed that we increase the allocation. Another reason, Honorable Speaker, why we increase the allocation for that department, you remember there are some promotions which were given by the county some times back. When we came to this assembly, we sacked the County Public Service Board because some of the claims we were getting, or some of the complaints we were getting from the staff, the medical staff, is that whenever they were called for interviews, they all failed those interviews. But we came to realize that the interviews were not conducted in good faith. So, Honorable Speaker, when our Excellency the Governor took over, and when we were sent to this house, some, not everyone, some of the medical officers were promoted. And since the day of promotion, they have never been given any cent. So, Honorable Speaker, in that budget, there is 163 million for the arrears for those promotions. So that is one of the reasons why the budget is coming up. Then the other reason why Mheshimiwa Brian is talking about Mwala. Mwala happens to be my neighbor, and Mheshimiwa Brian is my brother. I understand what he's feeling if he's losing 10 million from Mwala level 4. We inquired from the department and those who are manning the finance docket. And the response we got from those officers, Honorable Speaker, is that the county want to ensure at least they elevate one hospital to level 4, only to level 5 in every sub-county. And from the response we got, Masi has been given the highest allocation. I may not need the allocation since we are responding to
Okay, point of information taken. Honorable Ndawa, give him time.
with all due respect, stop talking about other people's words. Stick to your word. Please, we are the ones who know the pain of our people. Don't stand here and start talking about Mwala. Last budget, you cut down my budget by 20 million. This assembly. You are standing here again telling me
The explanation will be given by
yes, but
the mover of the
it is
motion.
important that he does not move that direction. It is
Okay,
about-
Honorable Ndawa,
Yeah,
please
please.
restrict yourself to
Please.
your word.
Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
Yes, we agreed, and thank you very much for that information. In fact, I'm supporting that the 10 million bill instead to Mala. That is where I was ending. Because that was exactly where I was ending. It's only that Mheshimiwa doesn't read well my mood or my way of putting things.
Very important.
So I was saying,
You wanted it returned.
from the report we got from that team, the argument was that Masi was given the highest allocation, so they were arguing that Masi is also in Mwala sub-county. That is their nini.
So the
But-
concern
but-
with
but
the
as
member
far-
is
but as
that
far as I'm
the
concerned-
concern is don't tackle other
Yes,
wards' issues.
yes,
And that level 4 being under his ward,
yes.
don't tackle. Let the concerned chair address it.
Well guided.
Thank you.
Well guided, Honorable Speaker. But as I move from there, I still maintain that the 10 million taken from Mala should be reinstated because
Thank you.
Mala also deserves
Thank
to
you.
have
Thank you, Honorable
that
Member.
money. Honorable Speaker, the reason why I'm saying so, sometimes when I have challenges in Matu, when my ambulance is not around, I usually consult with my neighbor who is Honorable Brian Kisila, and within no time, Mwala ambulances come and rescue our patients, and we have been relating well. So it is good to have neighbors who are well equipped, so that in case of any problem, you can be able to exchange those facilities.
The point is home.
Okay.
May proceed.
Then the other issue that I've seen, Honorable Speaker, we requested to know why the monies from the departments of road was reduced, and we were informed that this is the first supplementary, and we are likely to get another supplemental later. So they saw that the whole amount which is in that docket may not be used within this short time. So they said in case they deem fit, they can bring another supplementary and reallocate the money back to the department. Then, Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, because I don't want to say everything, I think this report before the House is addressing most of the pressing issues that are within our ward. As you are aware, now going back to my ward, Matu ward. Matu is along Thika Garissa Highway, and that is where most of the patients from the neighboring wards are brought in case of any accident or in case of diseases. Honorable Speaker, the proposal to upgrade Matu level 4 to level 5 is something that we welcome with all our hands and our hearts, so that we can be able to assist our electorates, our patients, and also remember, Honorable Speaker, Matu ward also hosts the county launch, which is the office of the governor, and we get so many visitors in that county launch. So in case of any problem, within that launch, the nearest hospital is Matu and the other one is Mwala. So, Honorable Speaker, the proposal of upgrading that level 4 to level 5 will address. Again, Honorable Speaker, if you remember very well, and the House at large, I moved a motion before this House concerning Matu Level 4. And some of the issues that I was requesting or that I was trying to address in Matu Level 4, number 1 was casualty wing. Number 2 was CT scan. Number 3 was completion of the morgue. The other number was oxygen plant. Honorable Speaker, going by the proposal by the department, we can see a good number of the items that we requested for are being addressed. As we talk now, the piping of the oxygen is complete. We are now waiting to establish the plant itself. So I can say that need has been, at least they have tried. From the allocation that we have been given, about 54 million, we also request to know what the money is going to be used to. And we were informed that the issue of the CT scan will be taken care using that amount, and the issue of the casualty wing will also be taken care. So, Honorable Speaker, if we go by that, the way we are moving, I'm very sure within a very short time, some of the problems that are facing my people will have been addressed. So thank you very much, and I request the honorable members also to agree with the report so that the account can be able to move forward. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minority Leader. May I ask Honorable Katiti to proceed? After which Honorable Mwaki Musila will proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Boniface Chalo Katiti.
After that, then we have Honorable Mbula. Something is wrong with my microphone. Am I being heard? Thank you. Proceed, Honorable Katiti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge the work that has been done by the Budget Committee. It is excellent work. But I want to go straight to some of the recommendations that the committee has made. And I want to start with letter D, where they are saying there should be when the count treasury needs to do some allocations, they need an approval, or maybe the allocation of more than 10%, then they need an approval from somewhere. I think, and I do agree, and do say this, the lawyer is silent because they are not telling us from approval from where. So they should be specific to us, tell us they need the approval from which, either the committee or the assembly, or where. So be specific. The other thing is about the priority that should be given to the stored and the ongoing projects. Yes, that's good, because some of the projects have never been done to completion, and they need to be completed because there were monies that were channeled previously there, and the residents need to see those the idea or the objective of the project being actualized. So those projects should be those stored projects should be completed, and the other ones that are ongoing also should be completed. The other thing is about what Mheshimiwa Kisila said. I also come from Mwala sub-count. I know the population is very big in Mwala sub-count. That needs a lot of attention. So the hospital, the level 4 in Mwala, that kind of decrease or take away the monies from that hospital, which we require so much, should not have been taken away. Otherwise, we recommend that, and I request that money should be returned to that hospital so that the services that are required there and that are needed by the patient there shouldn't be addressed. So I thank you, and I also support the motion. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Dambuki, I hope you are taking note of the concerns raised by members. May I invite Honorable Mwaki, proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll start by commending the chair and the team that came up with this budget. It is, to me, a progressive budget if followed to the letter. I want to say many things, Mr. Chair and your team, and particularly by the mere proposal of the Honorable Kisila doesn't want other people to talk of other people's wards. For me, I would request to be allowed to talk about other people's wards. In particular, I want to say thanks when you said you are proposing Matu level 4 to be upgraded to level 5. For those who we come from the diaspora, do understand how far Machakos is to bring a patient here. It has been my cry all along, if Matu level 4 could be upgraded to level 5, which would be next to me and the other wards that surround Matu. It will be the level 5 of the, please excuse me, say, well. That is including Masinga, the whole of Masinga, Mwala, Yata. We would all be at Matu. Please don't forget again, Matu level 4 is a highway hospital. It caters also for people along or the lower eastern part of Thika. People from Embu, it will be easier to access Matu than particularly the people who we are bordering across the river. Northeastern, that is their route. Whenever there are accidents along that road, it is Matu level 4 that comes in handy. The other areas would be Kitui. So that's why I'm saying it is very good for the proposal that has been put forward for the upgrading of Matu level 4 to a level 5. So, Mr. Chair, with your team, thanks and thanks again. Now, one more thing. I'm also grateful if the level 4 will become a level 5. For those who we come from the diaspora, our hospitals have been in Murang'a, Maragua, Mwea, Thika, and sometimes Nairobi. With the level 5 being upgraded, we will never go again to those areas. Remember, it is the objective of the county governor. We all be treated within the hospitals in the county, particularly because of the NHIF refunds. So if we'll be treated in Matu, then the refunds will be back in Machakos, and as such, we will be getting more priority or more or specialized treatments within our borders. Thank you for that. However, Mr. Chair, with your team, I'm not very happy, or before I get to that, I'm also happy that you are looking at Ndidhini level 4. I'm happy, I'm privileged today to sit next to the chair, health. Before we had agreed, they are coming to look at that facility. The level 4 we have at Ndidhini is a shell of the name of level 4. For those who have ever been there, they know it's just like a small level 2 hospital which bears the name level 4. But when you look at it, it's just a shell. I'm happy that you are proposing to give us some money for the development of that hospital. And I would have wished even the money that Mheshimiwa Ndawa is saying to be taken back to Mwala, can it be forwarded to Ndidhini? At least to make it a level 4 worth the name. Madam Speaker, it is good and it will be very important. Wherever you are, in a county, whenever we are talking about health matters, think of your brother when he is on the other side or on the other corner. Is he or she getting the appropriate medical attention? Are we all going to be coming to Machakos? Like I say, like I talk now, we used to have 2 ambulances, one stationed at Ndidini, the so-called level 4. That one is the one that is working. We have another one stationed at Mananja Health Center, which is a level 3. That one was grounded many years ago. It has never been on the road again. So we use our own cars to help the victims or the people who are sick to take them to Maragua, Moranga, Thika, Embu, and Moya. So when this one, the savings that you are getting, Mr. Chair, Honorable Chair, if those savings you are getting from elsewhere, please, if you could channel them a lot more to Ndidini, I would be very happy. That is about our health. Let me go and comment about the roads, the budget for roads. In fact, to me, I see, and I don't know if it is me who is adding the math wrongly, because when I add your math, Honorable Chair, they don't add up. The 3 columns, the 3 rows that you have here, they don't add up to 11 million, and the other 2 rows the same. And these 50 million shillings you are taking from roads, to me, I call it an invasion on my account. Please, I wish to appeal to you to renegotiate and reinstate this amount because of given situations, even as of now, particularly because of El Nino. Where are we going to get the finances to fix the El Nino problems? Remember, I'm talking about connecting Matu to the diaspora. The only road that we have passes through Ndidini, through Mudesia, through, not Yata, you call it Ndalani, yes, and then emerges at Sophia Iskidimani. That is a road that requires rehabilitation or renovation, whatever it is, every now and then. Yesterday, the Honorable Muindi told us in his area, Kikule, a matatu, a bus, overturned somewhere because of poor roads, because of the rains. Like now it is raining, no go zone, Kikule. How are we going to fix this if you cut on our budget? I'm asking you, or I'm appealing you. We only have one artery of a road, all the way from Ndidini, through Mudesia, Ndalani, and Kidimani to Matu. If you can reinstate those money so that we can rehabilitate these roads, we would be getting to the hospital we are talking about. And as such, we will stop now going to the other areas. We will be concentrating or going back to where we belong. I tell you, if you came from my area, you would understand what I'm talking about. You take your ailing relative to a hospital. I don't want to say which particular one, but we went somewhere. I was there myself. And then you are asked, just by the mere production of your ID or your NHIF card, the minute they see the name, kwani kwenu kuna dawa? Those are the questions that we get. How are we going to get the medication if we don't have good roads? I'm trying to appeal to the chair and his committee. Please do not invade the budget for the roads. If anything, reinstate it. Do not tell me, I have heard, I think the honorable member of Matu saying that it might be revised in another supplementary. Let us do it now. Let us not wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow, you wait for it, never come. We might be caught before tomorrow. It is now, if it is the best. Amasio. So I'm trying to appeal to the committee. I recommend what you've done. It's a good job. But please, look at that. Then you bring the med. Then we pass. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Asante.
Thank you, honorable member. Members, when we are debating, let's address everything through the Speaker of the House. Thank you, not through the chair. Honorable, while you are aware, you had identified members in a certain order. Who was next? Honorable Ndaka, proceed.
Madam Speaker, let me start by saluting the committee for the good job they have done. But I have some few observations, Madam Speaker, which I would like to make some comment. Madam Speaker, I came from Matungulu Sub-County, and Matungulu Sub-County relies mostly in Kangundo, relies with the Kangundo Hospital, level 4. And we relies on the two sub-county rely for that one hospital. And I've heard from the document, from the submission which has already been made by the Honorable Chairman before this House, that they have already made the decision to reduce the funding of the Kangundo level 4 hospital. Madam Speaker, the population there is big, Madam Speaker. And reducing the funding Kangundo Hospital, Madam Speaker, it is not fair for the two sub-counties, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I do urge, Madam Speaker, as what Honorable Ndawa has proposed, Madam Speaker, let those amount be taken back to Kangundo level hospital, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have heard that, Madam Speaker, the hospital will be upgraded to level 5 hospital, Madam Speaker, and reducing the amount of funding to that hospital. It is not good, and you have already proposed the promotion of that hospital. So, Madam Speaker, that hospital is very vital to our area. And as I support the motion, I urge the House to receive that decision and think big for the benefit of those residents, Madam Speaker. The other thing, Madam Speaker, it is good that we have heard through the document that, Madam Speaker, there is an increase of the development funds, Madam Speaker. But what I can urge the House, Madam Speaker, we encourage the executive to do a timely procurement, Madam Speaker, to avoid what we have seen last month, a speedy implementation of the project, and we have time. So as we pass the document, we urge the executive to do timely procurement. The other thing, Madam Speaker, the document is good, Madam Speaker, but last document, the last supplementary which came to this House, Madam Speaker, I think there were level 2 hospitals which were being captured, like the one in my ward, Chaume level 2 hospital, and yet it has not implemented. And I have seen there is an allocation of the public health funding. I don't know, Madam Speaker, whether those hospitals this time will be implemented or what. So, Madam Speaker, I urge, as we debate for this motion, Madam Speaker, let's take consideration in all the areas which are affected by that by the delay of the implementation of the project, which has already been proposed and passed by this House, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Chair Budget, please take note. Honorable Mbula, then Honorable Kaviu, and DS, then Kaloi, in that order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am Constance Mbulanziake, Special Elect by Maendeleo Chapchap. Honorable Speaker, I first want to thank the Chair of the Budget. It is not an easy job to do all these figures and analyze them, and he has done well. I want to say that I find the budget okay. However, only a few things that I see. You'll excuse me, I do not have my glasses. I cannot go through, but I listened to what the chair said. I stand to be corrected because through his speech, Honorable Speaker, I don't think I had anything to do with the El Nino, and all has gone havoc. Madam Speaker, I woke up in Nguluni today, and I knew I was to come here, and there is this ward where Honorable is called who? Lucky. I am in his ward, and I could not cross. There is this bridge connecting Matungulu and Mukukuni, and it was impassable. I had to wait from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. So the water went down and I crossed over. And these are some of the things we need to look into. And I want to say, let us respect the members who are elected, because they're the people on the ground and they know what is happening. When they speak, when they ask why the money was reduced, I think they're also pushed by the electorates, because if I was just a woman from that area and I could not cross, now I understand why I couldn't cross, because it has not been done. But tell me about the ordinary mwananchi there who will wait to cross to go to her farm or to look at his cattle, cows. What would happen? So the elected members, please try and do whatever you are doing properly, and we want you to get the money. I know all the departments have been waiting, and especially at this time, Agriculture Department is well waiting to have this money and get to work. So, Honorable Speaker, I have no problem with the budget. The only thing is most of the things for the elected are not very well addressed. Like when we look into hospitals, every one of them wants their hospitals to be done, level 5, level 3, level 4. If it's not possible, we are all human beings, and we are the people who visit those hospitals. And we need to think about the people on the ground. For us here, we can afford here because we have insurance, we have everything. We don't have to cross rivers on foot. But let them have their hospitals as they wish. If possible, all of them uplift their health status in their areas. Madam Speaker, I can only say this is okay. If they can agree, I don't think we need to say, let us wait for another thing to add this or add that. But let us also look at the El Nino funds. Last night I had the president announcing, the vice president announcing that the money is there. Can governors give out the money? I do not know how true that is. But if it's there, please let it be released and people will benefit. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mbula. Chair Budget, please check whether we have El Nino money and to address this house on that. Honorable Kavio, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to highlight a few items, and more so on Education Department. Think, Madam Speaker, education, and especially the ECD category that is purely under the county government, is a very key basic foundation of education for our kids. And I think for the second time now, we are seeing the budget for education being reviewed down. On development, Madam Chair, we have a reduction of 75 million from the initial 172.7 million that had been allocated for that department. And we are worried because most of the ECD classes and our vocational training are not in good shapes. We acknowledge that for the last 1 year, we have seen some tremendous improvement. And last financial year, we were only able to have like 10 classes that were to be done per ward. And Madam Chair, if we are going to move at that rate, it means at any particular point we'll be having young kids who do not have a conducive environment for learning. So what we are appealing to the committee is to review the development budget, and at least every financial year we can have a class, an ECD class per ward, so that we can cater to the rising demand of our ECD demands. And also we'll also request the committee to provide some clarity on what amount has been allocated for capitation, because Madam Speaker, our VTCC are on their knees. And if we are not going to do something to boost them, we might have very good facilities that we have undertaken as a county to improve their current status, but with good facilities and with the insufficient facilitation, these institutions are not going to function. So we also want the chair budget to highlight how much has been allocated for capitation to ensure that our vocational training centers are well equipped to provide quality, because as we can all recall, previously this vocational training center used to be hub or a processing unit for very qualified people. But with the time, the quality of people who are coming out of those institutions is slowly going down, and it's because the institutions are not well facilitated to provide that quality services. So we also want that taken care of, and also to concur with those who have spoken previously. We are currently experiencing a lot of blessings in form of rain. And we are already experiencing those calls from the members of public. They are not even patient enough to wait for the rains to go. They want their road done like yesterday. Then if we reduce the budget for roads, it means that we'll not be able to meet that gap. And the members of public out there do not understand. So we might find ourselves, if the budget is not enough, the honorable members might be forced to chip in and see how they can bridge the gap. But today, Madam Chair, we have an opportunity to bridge that gap and ensure that, because if you look at a sector like agriculture, we have already provided seedlings. People now are waiting for the harvest. So if there is any reduction that needs to be done, we can look for departments that do not have immediate need for funds now. And if there is another supplementary budget that's going to come, then we can allocate. And we also request the committee in future to make sure that the absorption rate is provided, because that will give a very clear picture on which departments needs more additional funds and which one do not need. Because if your absorption rate is low, then there is no need of you being added more funds. And as I conclude, the same case for Athi River level 4 is the only big hospital that is in Mavoko that is supposed to serve Mulolongo, Syokimau, Athi River, and Kinania ward. And sometimes members of people from Mudhwani also visit the facility. But we are also seeing a reduction on what is being allocated to it. So we also want that to be taken care of, because Mulolongo and Athi River and Kinanie, by virtue of them being municipalities and also their proximity to Nairobi, we have populations growing each day by day. So there is need for it to be looked at and ensure that there is sufficient fund that is allocated to the facility so that it can cater to the larger population in Mavoko, and probably have it upgraded to a level 5, because it's a very critical facility, and most of the time we are forced to come and seek services at Machakos level 5, yet we have a facility. If well facilitated, it can serve the population in Mavoko, and by extension even to our neighboring counties, which will translate to increased revenue for our county government of Machakos. So those are my input, but with a very key interest on education department, because we have ECD centers that are in very dire need. So we'll also like to get a response on the same. And once we look into those issues, I think we'll be good to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Chair, check into the reasons as to why the budget on education has been reviewed downwards. Who was the next Honorable Member? Deputy Speaker, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Stephen Mwande, representing the great people of Kalakala, Ekatini Ward, Madam Speaker. And I also happen to be a member of Budget Committee. Madam Speaker, I'll start by stating that having this supplemental budget as at today was such a good thing, so that we may supplement the monies that were left in the last financial year, so that the county government may be able to pay some of the projects that were undertaken during that time, and maybe time crossed over before those monies were spent. And I would also want, because many members have requested the chair to respond to so many issues, maybe to respond to some of them, including the one for Honorable Kisila, whom we can say that we can tell how he's feeling for the removal of Mwala Level 4 Health Center. But Madam Speaker, I would want to say that the beauty of it is that the money for the entire health sector has been added a lot of money. I think 250 something million shillings. And sometimes, because all these monies is going to our people, I think it would be good, as we understand the pain is going for the time being. And I remember we entered a similar case with the honorable member. I think next time that ward needs to be checked on seriously. And Honorable Kisila, I promise now to take care of that level 4. You know, with the budgets, it's about give and take. And so I think on that one, as a member, I'll check on that. We'll try also to see the level 4s that has not been taken care of, that they are taken care, and get an equal chunk of money, so that also your people may get those good services. On the issue of roads, yes, we as a committee went concerned on the issue of roads, and but you realize that the monies that were reduced from the Department of Roads are mainly for construction of buildings, not for the development. So it's that 7 million that came from construction of buildings that we felt are not priority as at now, but money is meant for development. It's only little money. So I think we tried as a committee to balance these issues. You know, there is need of construction and enhancing our level 5 hospital here in Machakos, and it is the one that got the biggest chunk. And it is for all of us, not only for Mala people, Kalakala, or another ward. It is meant still for our people. So concerning health, we made sure that health got the highest chunk, although with those few issues. And I request members, because they are just some few concerns, that let's pass this one as we take care of the concerns that you've raised to the committee. Thank you, honorable members.
Thank you, honorable member. Honorable Kaloi, then Honorable Motie.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't want to repeat what honorable members have said, but as the Deputy Speaker says, we pass this supplementary budget. But I think some observation, and the committee needs to take note of this. One, especially on the issue of the fire engines, the fire equipments that the 40.5 million was reduced to 20.5 million. I think we need these fire engines. Like yesterday, we had a fire that broke down in Earth River. We were forced to even call the fire engine station in Machakos to go to Earth River to assist. That tells you that we need more of this fire engine. So reducing to 20.5 million, I think the committee needs to recheck some of these issues. The feeding program, the 75 million moved to development budget. I think the feeding programs aims in assisting the ECD schools as per the manifesto of our Excellency the Governor. We need these young kids to get these foods, and I think it is appropriately that item also need to be checked on the feeding program. I've seen also in the trade committee introduction of 5 million for the children party. I think, to me, the executive means well for maybe the disadvantaged, the orphans, especially in the period of Christmas times. That is my thinking. So I think that's also the 5 million. It's a good idea for helping. For feeding, for having a party for these young children. Lastly, on the issue of the roads, because many members are also ascertaining that we have a challenge on our roads, and the absorption rate need to be checked. And Madam Speaker, we keep complaining of fuel. Every now and then we are complaining of fuel. Even now, we talk to the executive, there is no fuel. So I don't see a need of reducing the 250 million recurrent to development to 649, 231 million. I think these departments needs an increase of money so that the issue also on fuel and other things that will enable our wards to get these roads be catered for. So, Madam Speaker, as we pass this budget, we need those items to be highlighted. So thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I lastly congratulate the team, the budget committee, for a good done job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Motia, please restrict to yourself to what has not been mentioned. Kindly.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Vinny Motia, the elected member for Upper Kaiwa Ward. I want to thank you for giving me this time to comment. Definitely, I will not repeat what has been said. I will observe a different thing. First is to acknowledge the team that prepared this supplementary budget and the intent that is attached to it. My concern is only in the Department of Health on several issues. The first thing is that it is okay. The development budget has risen by about 121 million to 1.1 billion. Of course, the amendment is way above the 10% that is stipulated. My question to the committee is this: is this not
an amendment to the county physical strategy paper, which was approved by the Assembly. The second question that is coming out is that there seems to be a vote or a code referred to as general administration. At the Department of Health, this general administration takes a chunk of 71% of the entire development budget. The question is, what is general administration? It has risen from 538 million to 790 million. In fact, I was tempted to check from the Google so that I can understand what general administration in budgeting really is. And in fact, it appears as a frequently asked question because nobody seems to define it. This is what it says, that the following elements go into a general and administrative expense budget: rent, utilities, insurances, legal fees, depreciation on office equipment, supplies, maintenance, travel expenses, miscellaneous expenses, for which you have no product or service code assigned. When you turn to the recurrent side, you will also find that there is a similar mentioning: general administration and support services. Now, that is something which is of concern to me. What is this code? What is this vote called general administration? Because it seems that that is money which is not attached to any specific activity in the department. The reduction of monies from various level 4 facilities to be consolidated in this animal called general administration, it is immoral, it is uncouth, it is unallowed. When we say that we want to elevate one facility to become a level 4, a level 5, because we want to decongest Machakos level 5, the same thing that will happen is that these facilities which have been deprived of resources will still cause an influx in Machakos level 5. You don't achieve by reducing money in 5 facilities and pump that money in one facility. The people of Kangundo, for example, will not travel to Mwala. They will not travel to Matu. The people of Mwala will not travel to Matu. All those facilities which have been reduced in terms of allocations, they will all come to level 5. So the intent to decongest loses meaning. I believe that the committee of budget should have interrogated this thing called general administration, because it is a development budget and we know the facilities that we have in the counties. Then why do we have to create another subject to take a chunk of 71% of the development budget to leave a whooping 29% to be shared in about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 facilities? That is inclusive of the public health. Of concern also, Honorable Speaker, is that we need as a house to reconsider the idea that the supplementary budget is a property of the Budget and Appropriation Committee alone. I think other sectoral committees should be involved in preparing the supplementary budget. Why? Because if we interrogated the Department of Health on the strategy paper, on the physical strategy paper, we interrogated them on the ADP, we interrogated them on the CIDP, then at what point does it become a property of the Budget Committee alone, excluding the other committees? We need to look into this matter so that we can be able to ask the Health Department, what wisdom do you have to reduce 10 million from Mwala level 4? What wisdom do you have to increase the general administration from 538 million to 790 million? The committee does not have the authority to question, because it is said that the supplementary budget is a sole responsibility of the Budget Committee. At the end of the day, what we will have is to have a Budget Committee that is overwhelmed to the extent that some of these omissions being mentioned by members here are unavoidable. Therefore, I will propose that we need to relook into this idea of leaving the supplementary budget to the Budget Committee alone. Finally, Honorable Speaker, on the subject of health, I said I will restrict myself to health. We have 3 sectors as it is now. The public health seems to have lost about 5 million for development. I had a member who questioned whether the proposals as they were in the previous year will still be undertaken. 159 million, and bearing in mind that in the speech that the governor gave, it was her vision to have a level 2 facility in every sublocation. With this 159 million, that vision might not be actualized. It is my proposal, Honorable Speaker, that since now, because of time, we cannot interrogate this budget further, I want to challenge both the Assembly, the Secretariat, and the Speaker. Because this document has just come to us now, of course we cannot propose any amendments, because we will be told that you should have brought that amendment some 24 hours ago. But we are time-barred, because this document was shared to us outside that time. Of course, it offends Standing Order number 35-2. So, as we say that we will pass this supplementary budget, let us learn from these mistakes to understand that, number one, members should be given this document in time, so that if they have things they want to propose as amendments, they will not be told that they are time-barred. Number two, I will still propose that we should do an amendment to our standing orders so that even sectoral committees can be involved in supplementary budget. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Member, for bringing up those very pertinent issues. I will ask the Chair of Budget to look at them. Let this House understand what is this general administration that has swallowed 71% of the budget, and why it has to move from the Department of Health to it. And the other concerns that the member, the Chair of Health, has raised, they are very important. And of course, going forward, we need to look into it that we get the involvement of other committees, sectoral committees, to this, so that it doesn't look like it's a budget committee property or alone. And the other concerns that he has raised, let's just address them and let's understand what it is that is swallowing the money from other departments. At this point, I wish to call upon the chair budget, who is the mover of the motion, to come forward and reply, and in the reply, please address all those concerns. They're very important to us. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I also wish to thank the House for their contribution to the debate on the report that the committee has submitted before the House. Honorable Speaker, I value that feedback that we have received from the members, and if you allow me, I will respond to them in the order that the issues were presented. For the Mwala level 4, the reduction that was done was majorly because of an item in the general administration component that has been mentioned. And if you allow me, Honorable Speaker, before I give the reasons as to why that was reduced, allow me to share with the House components of the general administration item that appears under Health Department, and under that, Honorable Speaker, we're having some monies from donors, that is Danida, that we're having 22 million. Under that, we're having own contribution of 22.5 million. And we also have another component still under Danida, that is capital grants and transfer. That is still under general administration, which is having 790 million. Still under that, we're having money for transforming health system for universal care project, which is 5 million. And the biggest chunk of that money, 124 million, is a program that is co-shared between the national government and the county government, where we have leasing of medical equipment, which we need to provide for money to lease equipment from the national government. And also still under general administration, Honorable Speaker, we have some money set aside for maintenance of plant, machinery and equipment. That is 20 million. And we have money for overhaul of other infrastructure and civil works, 9 million. And some money for purchase of software, which is a new software that is being developed for patient information and management to be rolled out to all level 4s, level 3s, and level 5, 100 million. And now, the money, part of the money that was reduced from Mwala and other level 4 facilities, Honorable Speaker, was to fund, or is to fund, Machakos Hospital, which is a new facility, and which is one of the flagship projects of the governor at 150 million.
Are you still in the general administration?
General administration, Honorable Speaker. Just trying to debunk what general administration is. There is a construction of non-residential buildings in Mololongo, Syokimau, Mavoko at the River, Kinani, and Kalama hospitals, which has been given 185 million Kenya shillings. And those are houses for non-residential buildings. Those are buildings within the facilities. And those programs now will be run from the headquarters. And there is hire of equipment, plant, and machinery. There is capital transfer from donor money. That is Kenya Devolution Support Program. And that is what Honorable Ndawa said before, that we're having a new, or rather improvement of the existing facility in Masi, where we are getting donor money to the tune of 141 million Kenya shillings. When we put that together, we get 790 million Kenya shillings. So that is the general administration bit under the health department on the development budget, Honorable Speaker. That is why Mwala level 4 is losing 10 million together with other facilities, not Mwala level 4 alone. Honorable Speaker, on education, 75 million.
Also have money from donors in that same account.
Yes,
Did you say
Honorable
something
Speaker,
like that?
we have Danida money.
Yes.
Where we, as county, we are supposed to have our own contribution before the donor gives us money. And we also have that money for Masi Hospital and Kenya Devolution Support Program. Honorable
So
Speaker,
during the usage, will this general administration be used on Mwala Hospital?
no, Madam Speaker. What happened is in the principal budget, the proposals that were forwarded to the Committee on Budget and Appropriations did not have this amount. However, the committee, through its prudence, though that we needed to spread this money after consultation with the House during sectoral committees. And I remember we were in Nairobi that time, Honorable Speaker, where we decided that we need to spread this money from the MACHAKOS hospital to other level 4 hospital facilities. Then later on, it was discussed between the committee and the executive that we needed to have this money reverted back to the original use, that is MACHAKOS hospital, it being one of the flagship projects of the governor. So that being so, Honorable Speaker, these level 4 facilities have lost that money, and that money has been taken back to the original intended purpose of having MACHAKOS hospital, which will be like a teaching and referral facility. Honorable Speaker, still under health, before I go to any other department, Honorable Ndaka requested to know whether Kangundo level 4 has lost money. And however, Madam Speaker, Kangundo level 4 has not lost any money, either on development or on recurrent, but the facility has gained 12 million on development. Remember, Honorable Ndawa mentioned that the executive is intent on upgrading Matu level 4 and Kangundo level 4 facilities to level 5 facilities. Honorable Speaker, level 3 and level 2 facilities are under health, public health funding, and they still have some money. However, they have lost about 5 million on development, and part of this money on development is to improve the existing infrastructure, the existing buildings, where we are having some facilities being constructed, having constructions on maternity wings and additional wards. That is happening across the county, Honorable Speaker. On education, there is 75 million that has been moved from development, and it reflects on recurrent budget. We have not lost any money on that. However, this money was for feeding programs, not construction of ECDE centers. And with advisory from the controller of budget, with the nature of the usage of the money, it is easy to have that money under recurrent, not under development, so that since this is a feeding program, the executive can easily access this money for that use. The money for ECDE rooms and bursaries remains intact. ECDE centers at that 5 million. For rehabilitation of youth polytechnics, that Honorable Kaviu questioned, we still have money for that. Rehabilitation of youth polytechnics at that 5 million. And construction of new vocational training centers at 12 million. So that money is still there, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Mwoki Musila also asked about the Ndidhini level 4. And that facility has money that has not been touched. The money is still there. We have 1.6 million money meant for medical and dental equipment, and 21 million for non-residential buildings. That is, you mentioned that the facility is small as compared to the name that has been given to it. So we have 21 million for construction of non-residential buildings in Ndidhini level 4. On roads, I'm glad that the Deputy Speaker responded about the issue of the 50 million under the roads department. That money was not meant for construction of roads. However, it was money meant for buildings. And the executive, though that for now, we do not need to construct new buildings. However, that money can be used elsewhere. And that money is what has been used, or rather, that is the money that committee sourced together with monies from other departments to get 67.5 million for community health promoters. Money meant for rural roads and major roads still remains there. For rural roads, in the principal budget, we approved 116 million, and for major roads, we approved 235.5 million. That money is still there, available. On firefighting equipment, Honorable Speaker, it is true that we need to get new equipment. However, after interrogation and cross-examining the CEC Finance, not CEC, sorry, the CEO Finance, we agreed that for now, they can rehabilitate the existing firefighting equipment at 20.5 million that we have given and reduce the budget from 40 million. On the question as to whether any reallocation above 10% on the approved budget, the executive needs to seek approval. Honorable Speaker, I believe, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, that the House can delegate authority to committees. And as such, the Committee on Budget and Appropriations questioned that through the delegated authority from the Assembly. So we questioned as to why there is allocation above the said 10%, and we were given sufficient information by the CEO Finance. And any document that the committee requested from them was provided in that regard. Honorable Speaker, I rest my case, and there is one more area that I have not tackled on local revenue. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Kisila asked about the local revenue, where we mentioned that we're having 2.9 billion on source revenue. But remember, Honorable Speaker, we also have revenue from our hospitals at 1 billion. When we put that together, we will get roughly about 4 billion on source revenue. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
There's some issue you didn't address, the asset...
the asset disposal.
Disposal.
Yes. I believe now there is the Public Procurement Act that will be followed during disposal of the assets. That money has been set, the 100 million is set aside to facilitate that. And when we questioned the CC Finance on the same during our principal budget, he said that their target is to raise almost double of the 100 million that has been put there. So the county is set to gain almost 100 million from disposal of stale or obsolete equipment or assets that we have. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, point of information taken. And don't take a lot of time.
Mr. Speaker, I actually, the answers the chairman has given are very sufficient. But the only concern I have is Her Excellency the Governor's vision of Machakos Level 5, 150 million, is already well taken care of in the budget if you take the money which has been taken away. But taking money from Mwala to Kalama, I don't think is justifiable. I can accept 10 million be taken to 150 million facility in Machakos Level 5. But for Mwala, I disagree. So kindly, don't take money from Mwala to Kalama. Leave, if you go, Chairman, and I want to invite you, Madam Speaker, in fact, I want to invite you, Madam Speaker, with the entire House to Mwala Level 4. You will all cry. It's only Mheshimiwa Kasanga here. Who knows what's going on? Men and women are sleeping in the same ward. We only have 16 beds. We don't have any
Honorable Kisila.
Madam Speaker.
Having said that the explanation is satisfactory.
No, it's not.
It is not important. It is not prudent to
enough.
go ahead and complain.
No, I'm not complaining. It is not enough for Mwala Level 5. And I still insist, Madam Speaker, I'm supporting the supplementary fully.
Thank you, Honorable Member.
When it comes, I want to support with a caveat.
Okay.
That when it comes to the committee of the whole House, I'll be moving a motion to reinstate the 10 million for Mwala, because I understand the implications. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. And thank you, Chair Budget. I now, where are we? I now put the question that this Assembly adopts the report of the Budget and Appropriation Committee on the first supplementary budget estimates for the county government and the Assembly for the financial year 2023-2024, tabled in the Assembly on 22nd November 2023. As many are of the opinion say aye. As many are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 11. The Machakos County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023, Kenya Gazette Supplement number 11, Machakos County Bills number 7, second reading.
May I invite Honorable Dominic Dambuki, Chairperson Budget and Appropriation Committee, to come forward and proceed with that motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order number 121, Suborder 1, I beg to move the motion that the Machakos County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023, Machakos County Bills number 7, be now read a second time. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, this bill sets aside monies that the county executive will have for use to propel the wheel of development within the county. I wish to call upon Honorable Justice Mutuku to second.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Justice Mutuku, proceed. Thank you. I now propose the question that the Machakos County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023, Machakos County Bills number 7, be now read a second time. I invite members to discuss this bill, this motion. Members, you are welcome to debate. Honorable Kisila, proceed.
Madam, I want your permission. Since this bill was brought within to us before the stipulated 2 hours to bring an amendment, I want your permission that when we sit in the committee of the whole house, that I'll be allowed to move a motion to amend the restatement of 10 million back to Mwala. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Ndawa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just want to agree with my brother here, because you know we started very late. In fact, it was only 5 minutes to the appointed time for the morning sitting, and the delay was not from the committee dealing with the budget. There are some information which were brought very late. So, Honorable Speaker, I kindly request you to invoke Article 1 of the Constitution to allow that motion to be moved without subjecting the honorable member to the 2 hours requirement. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. When that time arrives, then I allow that you proceed and bring amendments without having to look into time frames and proceed. Is it the same ruling I'm making? It's something different. Then let me finish. Allow me to finish. So your prayers are granted. All right. Any more contributions? Honorable Kavio.
Madam Speaker, I think it's not more of a contribution, it's a request that I wanted to make from the mood of the House.
Yes.
I think, and the clarity that has been provided by the chair budget was satisfactory to the House. You can put the question so that we can proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I now put the question. Where is that? Sorry. I now put the question that the Machakos County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023, Machakos County Bills number 7, be now read a second time. As many are of the opinion, say aye. Aye. As many are of the contrary opinion, say nay. The ayes have it. I invite the clerk to read the long title.
A bill for an act of the County Assembly of Machakos to authorize the issuance of a sum of money out of the County Revenue Fund and its application towards the services of the year ending 30th June 2024, and to appropriate that sum for certain public services and purposes.
Thank you, honorable members. The House adjourns to Wednesday, 22nd November 2023 at 2:30 p.m. Sorry? I'm sorry. What time? What time do? At 3:30 p.m. 3:30. Okay. Are you sure you members will come back by 3:30? You are sure? Okay, let's be here at 3:30, members. Thank you.